Hello and welcome to Building Tech Sales Academy in public for another week. My name is Jameel Raymond. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. As always, what have we been building at Tech Sales Academy this week? It's been a good bounce back week, folks. Bouncing back from what I spoke about last week, a pretty tough week with my heart condition, trying to relax, trying to get back into the flow of things, reduce anxiety. Definitely taking it slower this last week, and so having some more mental health initiatives has helped reduce symptoms. I'm not jolting awake at 4:30 in the morning as much anymore, which is a big relief. Not having as much tingling in the left arm, which is good, right? Good. At 34, again, I should not be having these tingles. So having a bit more energy, having a bit less anxiety in the body, has a little bit more emotional bandwidth to do things. I've been pretty productive this week in finishing off a 3-part exercise in the Tech Sales Mentorship, which is a free course that you can access right now somewhere. And essentially that 3-part exercise is to give you the fundamentals of your ICP, which is your ideal customer persona. So these are the people that you're trying to sell to. Understanding and defining your UVP, which is what makes you uniquely valuable in market to solve those customers' problems. This is about why you're special, why customers should remember you. And then tying that together, understanding how you solve your ICP's problems with your UVP solutions. And that is the value messaging that you give on to customers in your cold outreach, in your lead gen, cold emails, cold calls, etc. So I've just finished that exercise and I've put that now into the Tech Sales Mentorship, so you can enjoy that right now. And what I've done is I've tied that all together, or I'm tying it all together with a mega ChatGPT AI prompt, because I think you need to use AI. You'd be a fool not to use it. And so prompt engineering is a really important skill that people should develop in mastering AI. I'm getting into it myself. I'm definitely no expert, but giving the frameworks and the basics of how you can tie all this stuff together to actually give you really useful outputs. Now, what I will say is AI outputs, ChatGPT outputs for cold outreach emails and calls should not be used carte blanche. You should not just be copying and pasting, because if it was just that simple to do that without personalization and using a natural tone of voice, then what use are you as a human being in this process, right? This is why the robots are going to take over, which we're going to talk about in the next segment, because I got some thoughts there. But essentially, putting that together for you guys, giving you some frameworks, and that's just the basics of how you go out to market and generate more leads, because that is what the people keep telling me. When people join the free community, I asked a couple of questions about what are you looking for most. All of it is lead gen. How do I generate more leads? And that's a fair enough question to ask, because all businesses of all sizes just want more leads. That's the number one thing you should be focusing on. I should be focusing on it more, but right now I'm rebuilding the curriculum and not focusing so much on selling. I don't actually even do any outbound selling of this business so far. It's all been inbound, which is, I could be doing more. Let me get the program right so I feel comfortable and have the conviction to really sell it and have a body of work where I'm like, you must absolutely get this because it is fucking sick. And it is pretty damn good right now. Don't get me wrong. It has still got tons of value in it, but I just want to get the building part off my plate before I really double down on the selling, especially now while it's quiet and I've got a bit more time to build. And then once I've got a job or I've got something full-time during the day, then it's just selling, nurturing, etc. I can just take the build off my plate and just be done for a while. So when I now finish that exercise, the cold outreach and AI prompt, this is my build map for the Tech Sales Mentorship. I showed this to you guys last week. These are all the lessons that I'm working on. All the ones in red are being done now. I'm going to go back to filling out these 4 videos, which is the complete 7-figure career and skill map, which is all this stuff here. And this is really powerful stuff, right? Exactly in 1, 2, 3, 4 basic modules, not modules, but in these 4 lessons, I give you your entire career map to make 7 figures as an AE. So by putting that together into those lessons, that just gives a really strong narrative from the jump when you join the academy and the free community and going, here is what I'm helping you with. This is your entire career journey. This is how we help you there. This is the skills. Here's the lessons. Everything you need to know, open source. Okay, so that's really what I'm working on now. And we'll do that hopefully this week, and then those will end up being lead magnets and free lessons that I chuck up on the internet for you to enjoy. On the jobs front, pretty quiet, because again, most jobs aren't really going up until February, because most hiring managers and most execs have only just gotten back from leave in Australia in January, in this week of Feb. So I think the job search will ramp up. I'm actually considering getting into high ticket closing. And what high ticket closing is essentially just being a gun for hire for an outsourced sales agency where businesses are looking for killer salespeople to close their products and close their leads that they generate online. So it's a different path. I'm sort of exploring it because from what I've found, you can earn pretty good money, up to 30K, maybe even more per month. That's USD as well, depending on the company and the solution that you close. And 30K US a month that'd be coming through my company is killer cash, folks. Nothing to sniff at. That'd be potentially more, that'd be actually more than I'd be making as an AE at a company if I was to just go back into a vendor or a partner of some sort. So I'm like, And if I don't have to do the management part, I just have to manage, not even do the lead gen part. They do all the booking, just doing researching and closing and just being a full-on closer. I could give that a crack. For 30K a month, I'll give that a crack. So that's early days. Haven't really, just exploring it right now. Got into some sort of high-ticket agency. They're sort of scoping out some potential clients that I might be able to work with. And I'm just keeping that door open, folks, because, I've got to be scrappy to get some money back into my pocket and just keeping all avenues open. I will let the universe give me the signs of where the path shall be. I've got to trust I'm exactly where I need to be right now and that things will unfurl, but it's just something that I've always been curious about and, just kept itching away at. So let me open that door and explore that because, again, I know what the path of being an AE is like. Done it plenty and not hating that process at all. That's what I'm the best at. So there's pros and cons to both. Being an AE, going back into the market that I know extremely well, using my sales processes that I've mastered and put in for you guys to also learn. It makes sense to me to just go to what I know for now. It's a safer option, but good money, only focusing on closing. Potential. Again, this is only a commission-only role, so there is no base. That's a little bit of instability there. That's what I'm weighing up right now. So, options, we'll see what happens. Just exploring the curiosities for now, but feeling much better, powering through, not powering through, I guess just getting back into the flow of things, of building, being healthier, getting the mind right, getting the heart right. We're getting back up there, folks. It's good. It's good. Something that's been really weighing on my mind the last month is that I don't think individuals or people are adequately prepared for the massive change that AI is going to bring. Because one of the most scariest, the most important things that we need to understand as individuals and as a society is that human beings are no longer at the top of the economic food chain. Okay, we are no longer the best option for corporations to invest in to run businesses. All of us as employees are resources. We cannot forget that we are resources between a company's agenda to serve customers, to generate profits, to potentially appease the shareholder. Okay? Corporations are complex beings, just like us, in survival mode. Their only role in society is to keep themselves going, keep themselves alive through this process of generating business, creating customers, creating profits to then feed the machine of what they are, and then unfortunately in a lot of cases disperse all of their hard-earned earnings into the shareholder, starting at zero again, having more ambitious growth targets to do that all again and then some, and then we have this consistent squeeze of profitability, this consistent squeeze of resources, but we're always doing more for less, right? We've all felt the crunch of doing more for less over the years. And that is just society. That is human nature. The universe operates with efficiency. It always wants to get more done with the least amount of effort required to get there. So us as resources in that game who are no longer the best option because AI can do the things, a lot of the things, not everything, but a lot of the things that we can do at a fraction of the cost, and they don't need holidays, they don't need to take time off, they don't need a mental health break, they don't care about DEI. We are liabilities to companies, right? We are usually one of the largest costs in organizations. Most of the liability in organizations getting sued or having legal issues comes from employees and just people in general, right? So if you as the executive are out there looking at column A, human beings, up to 30 to 40% of an organization's costs versus AI, which could be a fraction of the cost if you get AI agents, which is the big thing that's happening in 2025, to then autonomously do a lot of knowledge worker jobs, and you're incentivized to maximize profits, right, and deliver shareholder value, where do you think you're going to go, right? And look, we're all thinking about it. We're all holistically going, how could AI make my life better? But the compounding effects of the job losses that will occur from AI replacement will not be enough. Like the new jobs that will come as a result of AI will not be enough. And not as many people will adapt to these new skills or these new jobs as much as we can. And my great fear is in the next decade, we're going to see mass layoffs, okay? Mass layoffs. We're going to see all of those jobs, right? If you think about a corporation, right? Every corporation is thinking about cutting labor to use with AI. And all of those people are going to enter a job market, which is going to be significantly smaller because there is no new jobs, or they don't have the sufficient skills for the jobs because there's just a massive net negative in actual jobs available. And if there is no system to maintain high amounts of unemployment like we already are struggling and our public systems are now to manage unemployment, resources, getting people back into jobs, the bottom is going to fall out of society because everyone's going to go into survival mode. People are not going to be able to feed their families, their kids. They're going to get desperate. People are going to default on their loans. And it's going to be chaos. It's going to be mass chaos. And these systems that we have now around food, water supply, public services, they're inefficient and they barely do the job of what they need to do now. Imagine in a decade plus when every Western country is still trying to pay off the massive debts that they've accumulated from printing all this money over the last decade. Do you think about how inefficient governments are because they eventually are going to have to manage the public that gets fired? I don't think anyone's really put any thought into the economic model around universal basic income, and it seems like an absolute mess that we're staring into that really freaks me out. And as someone that now is at zero, where realistically your only options are to get out of this mess, if it does happen, is to get away from these systems. Is to, there's a couple of options here. You want to aim for FIRE, which is financially independent, retire early, hopefully get out of a corporation before they fire you. You could hopefully have your own business and build your own thing like I'm trying to do. To have a source of income that is outside corporate interest. Maybe you do, you are at a job that is protected by that, right? And you are in a job that, if you're in a sales job, look, thankfully we are one of the last types of people that will be affected by layoffs because we are revenue generators and we are close to the human experience. So that's very useful. But look, from my own experience, and this is why I'm, a little bit concerned, is that even as a top performer in sales, like I was at Telstra Enterprise in 2021, I still got made redundant because it doesn't matter. I'm not a human being to the corporation. I am a cost center. I am a resource. And that resource is no longer effective towards the direction of the organization that it has to pivot to in order to survive. So you can be a top performer. You can be a great salesperson and still be on the street. Because it happened to me and it's happened to dozens of other people that I know. That's happening to thousands of people as we speak, right? And I just don't think we have enough awareness of this happening, but all of the symptoms are there. And let me show you some examples, okay? So this is an article that I found on Forbes that was talking about how millennial careers are at risk due to AI, okay? We already know that we're at risk, but what's really scary about this, this article in particular is some of the numbers that are around job replacements, okay? So it does say that 38% of, millennials' careers are at risk due to AI, 38%. We're the highest demographic. I'm a millennial myself. And the reason why that is because we are in the roles right now that are most likely to be disrupted, in knowledge worker roles, high intelligence roles, etc. But what's really scary is some of the numbers that are being thrown around here. So for example, this announcement here that Bloomberg has announced that Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs plan to eliminate 200,000 positions over the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, that is 200,000 to 500,000 high value, finance jobs gone from the market completely. Okay, the Future of Jobs report, which is from the World Economic Forum, says 41% of worldwide organizations plan to cut workforces before 2030. That is 5 years away. And it's already happening now, folks, is that we've already seen thousands of layoffs, even in the tech sector. We are going to see even more coming, right? This is happening now, okay? Some other articles that I've pulled up. Goldman Sachs has already started the process of replacing bankers with AI by including an AI assistant into the employee base. Now, again, we understand as human beings, that's been in this digital world, we are the product. These AI agents are twofold. One, to help us do jobs, but also understand and replicate exactly what we're doing so they can do it for a fraction of the price. This is the equivalent of having to train the outsourced person in India or the Philippines to do your job, except it's just, instead of having to do it over across, Zoom, the agent can literally just see exactly what you're doing and replicate it all of the time. Or it'll understand what gaps there are in the knowledge base because you ask it questions. It'll know what things you don't know, okay? One of the things that I've always talked about with this academy is that tech skills are decreasing in value because technology will increasingly take care of itself. The human skills are what are most important in society to develop those and be close to the human experience, because that's the most immune, because AI can't really do that well, nor do humans really trust that yet. And that's starting to happen now, okay? So this article I found where Mark Benioff says Salesforce will hire no more software engineers because AI will take over. Zuckerberg from Meta also announced that a lot of mid-level engineering jobs will be done by AI. So already AI is cannibalizing the technology engineers that built it, or technology jobs in the first place already, okay? Back to this Forbes article, here are some things that you can do to mitigate the risk. Master AI human collaboration. Like I said, your job will not be replaced by AI, very likely in sales. It'll be replaced by someone that can leverage AI to do more than you. Focus on the creative side, which is, again, the human element, the human side. Creativity is still a human skill. Lifelong learning. This is what I teach you at the academy. This is what I'm trying to give you, high value skills. Cultivating EQ, another big part of the academy, which will be coming out soon, okay? And taking ownership of AI integration, right? Being that orchestrator of technology as much as you can, okay? So this is what I'm concerned about, folks. Like, I think we've got 5 years of good earning potential before shit really hits the fan and we see the widespread, which is 2030, I guess, which is about on time, before we see the widespread job losses and the real strain on public resources as people are unable to find jobs. It's not that your job as a salesperson in tech is necessarily at risk. It's at a bit of risk depending on how well you perform, but it is the critical mass of people around you that do not adapt to technology, right? This is now monkeys versus monkeys with tools. And if you are a monkey without a tool and you don't know how to use that tool properly, you're in deep shit, right? And that is my grave concern. And this is something that I'm building towards and have been since day one. And I'm starting to get my fears realized. So something to think about. And if you want to do the best thing you can to protect yourself, come to the academy, learn these high value skills in the highest leverage industry in the planet, which is tech, and they should compound in value for the rest of your career and build a moat of money, of resources, because that's what I'm going to be doing, folks. I'm going to be talking to you guys about it through the journey because I think shit's about to get rough pretty soon and we need to be prepared. And it's my responsibility as a community leader that sees this to let you know about it and see what we can do about it as a collective. Okay? That's it for this week, folks. If you would love to join the Free Tech Sales Academy community, if you haven't already, find it in the description below. Again, I've got over 30 free lessons for you to get your start in technology sales, preparing you for your first 100K AE role, and plenty more like we just talked about. That full seven-figure roadmap will be there very shortly. School.com/Tech Sales Academy. I shall see you in there. See you next week.